Construction is nearly complete on the controversial crude oil pipeline that may run near Big Creek Lake. Now, that lake, by the way, supplies drinking water for Mobile County and some of Baldwin County, too.
It's also the industrial water supply for major corporations. Fox 10 News reporter Candace Murphy is uncovering more information about the project and discovered some locals were forced to sell their land to the private oil company.
That's right. It's an investment of more than $100 million for the oil company Plains South Cap, and local landowners are seeing a direct impact from the project. I took a closer look at the law, and what I found out may surprise you. An oil pipeline is snaking its way underground from 10 Mile Terminal in Mobile County to Pascagoula, Mississippi. It's a project that's almost complete.
It's a 41-mile pipe, and it's got about 2 miles to go or less, so it's 98% or so.
In fact, all the oil company needs is land from the Mobile area water and sewer system. The pipeline was expected to be completed by the end of this year, but instead of on site, Plains has been in court fighting Moz for its property. It's one of the many court battles the company has faced this year after taking property from residents living along the pipeline's proposed route. The company uses eminent domain, forcing people to give up their land.
That's true in this country and in most countries. The government, the sovereign government, has the power to take property and convert it back to public use.
Eminent domain lawyer Casey Pipes says the government can use eminent domain to take property from anyone who owns land. In exchange, the owner is supposed to receive a fair monetary payment. So how did a private oil company like Plains South Cap seize property from landowners?
The company doesn't have the power in and of itself to condemn property. What it has is an argument that the state has given it the power by statute, where the state could clearly have taken the property for its own purposes, and by statute the state can confer the power on private individuals or private companies like Plains.
Pipe says it doesn't matter whether the landowner is a private person or a public company like Moz. This landowner, who asked us not to reveal his identity, says he was forced to sell his property.
We were surprised. That one caught me by surprise, because this is a big deal, taking people's property.
The man says Plains representatives showed up on his land in 2012 asking to look around his property. Next thing he knew, they wanted to buy his land and build an oil pipeline.
I remember looking at this and I said, "Are you sure?" Because the route they had chosen was right through the creek and the wetlands and all this, and I remember telling them that they said no, that's the right route. It was going to go all the way through Big Creek Lake all the way to Mississippi.
The landowner said he told Plains he wasn't interested, but later found out the company already had the correct permits to condemn his land.
It's not a good position to be in if you're a landowner. They still get your property, and you have to wait for a long time for a judge to decide or a jury to decide what you get, if anything. So that's the process, and that's what happened to us.
The man said Plains took 2 acres through the middle of his property, cutting his land in half. The land condemned includes Hamilton Creek, which feeds into Big Creek Lake, Mobile County, and some of Baldwin County's drinking water supply.
The oil line is just east of here. The water comes in from Hamilton Creek, runs out to the main body of the lake.
Benny White is the supervising operator at the Moz pumping station on Hamilton Creek.
The main body of the lake is out west, runs all the way up to US 98. So we're pumping through 2 60-inch pipelines to the city, to the treatment facilities, and then it's distributed out through the city.
The current route has the pipeline crossing Hamilton Creek. Moz attorney Don Beebe says a spill from the pipeline would be catastrophic, contaminating the water, potentially shutting down the pumping station.
It's just not the drinking water for the people in Mobile. It is the industrial water for major corporations that not only are already here, but are being recruited to come here. And that's just not an economic incentive to allow this pipeline to go through our watershed because it threatens the ability to attract a business.
So what if there is a spill? How do you clean it up? Beebe says Plains will be held accountable and the federal government would get involved.
That would leave this city in a catastrophic state with no water supply. It's unimaginable.
Plains has people under contract available to respond in the event of a spill. There are 2 separate entities available. They've got equipment already here, staged and ready to deploy.
Plains South Cap's attorney Jared White insists the pipeline is safe.
Plains is also using heavy wall pipe, twice as heavy as normal, through this area to provide additional protection, and installing additional valve stations, 24-hour monitoring, and all the oil that goes through is metered. There's pressure sensors that tell you if there's any kind of inconsistency or anything to be worried about. And then they have a program where they send these robotic devices through on regular intervals to check the integrity of the pipe and the wall thickness, make sure there's no corrosion, anything like that.
Right now, Plains South Cap is suing Moss for its property to finish construction of the pipeline. White says the route follows the current utility corridor, and since it's 98% complete, there's no changing it now. Last week, Circuit Court Judge Robert Smith ruled Plains South Cap has the legal authority to condemn Ma's land. But Judge Smith must decide whether to grant that condemnation petition. Court begins December 16th. Of course, some say Ma's wouldn't be in this battle if Plains South Cap had not been given the permits to begin construction. Coming up at 9, I found out who approved a project some say jeopardizes the health and welfare of the county's citizens.
And to learn more about the pipeline project and how it's going to affect you, we have more information posted